to show you the gold web and how to start it up and the approximate amount of water you want to start with, just so you can see how it runs. So we'll turn the water on, and what we want to watch for is you'll have to cover the top once the water started to get it coming around and siphoning out the back end. We're just using a garden hose on a tap, and you may wind up having the pump as an option. So we get it flowing, and you'll see that it's coming out the back end, and then we slow the water down. And you'll have to adjust it depending on your material. You have to adjust it down so that it's just siphoning out the back. And when you put your first material in, you'll be able to see that we've slowed it down enough here that we do have some air bubbles coming around. And you'll see that in the first part of the first tube, the water isn't coming all the way through. There's actually a little bit of an air pocket. But if we start there, then we can start to see, as the gold starts to separate from the rest of the materials, you'll see that it starts to work.
Black sand.
So we have a very heavy black sand with pyrite mix, and we're going to just do a 3-pound pay dirt that we had. This will give you an idea of what it does. This hasn't been screened, ½ inch in size. But you'll see that you do have air bubbles. And that's okay. That helps it work. And as a test, we're showing you we have some very fine gold here. So that's some number 30 mesh and smaller. There's some chunky number 8 and 10 and 6. So we'll throw that in there. And we'll mix that up. Alright, so you can see that it's all mixed. Now we'll start by pouring just a little bit in. And you can see that, like I said, in this very first tube, the water's creating a bit of a gap, but it's a siphoning effect. And you'll want to adjust as you're doing this. You can see that we've got a couple little pieces of gold in there now, but the rest of the gravel has gone around. And you'll see that Dave's feeding it fairly quick. You can see the gold starting to gather. You can feed it relatively quickly. And so now you'll see that it separates the gold from the sand very quickly. You'll see we have a majority of the gold in the front tube, and then you'll have some in the second and third tube. We have nothing in the fourth tube. There's also a little bit at the bottom, and you'll see that it's bouncing. And when it's bouncing down in this first tube and in the upper area, you know that it's working properly. Again, you'll see in this first tube we don't have a full water flow. And you can see how the material just goes around. You can see that in this first tube the gold is jigging in this upper portion. You'll see a vast majority of the gold is in the first tube. We also have it in the second and third tube, and now we'll just let it sit and continue to clean itself out. And you'll see that in about 3 or 4 minutes that this gold should be perfectly clean. You'll see that some of those flakes are really, really flat, but they still stay inside the gold web. Have some at the bottom. You can see it bouncing around in the tube there. We do have a little bit of gold coming out the 4th tube, and that's not a problem because everything winds up in a bowl in the back. You can put a gold pan or a bowl in the back and it catches your tailings, and then just run them a second time at a slightly slower speed. The idea behind this, of course, is that just in a couple of minutes, and this is a real-time video, we have gotten 99% clean gold. So we will now show you how to empty that. So that's a real-time video. That's how long it took to run the material. We're now going to put a clean gold pan in the back and empty the machine out so that you can see how to get the gold out. I'm going to put a pan in the back. Or empty the bowl into a pan. Alright, so the gold is all sitting in the tubes, and you just turn the water back on, hand on top so that the water gets forced down. You turn the water up to full speed here, and you'll see that it just cleaned it right out. And you'll see that you have over 95% clean gold. We can also run this through one more time. You'll see that it got all the fines and all the coarse gold, and that's how it works.